Hi everyone. Previous class we have discussed about Gauss law and proof of the Gauss law, special Gaussian surface and some applications of Gauss law. In this class we are going to discuss about remaining applications of Gauss law. So that are first one is electric flux density due to infinite line charge. Electric flux density due to infinite line charge. So consider an infinite line charge. That infinite line charge is placed lying on the z-axis. That line charge density is ρl coulombs per meter. Consider Gaussian surface as a right circular cylinder. Consider closed Gaussian surface as a right circular cylinder. The radius of the Gaussian surface is smaller and length of the Gaussian surface or length of the cylinder is capital L or small l. Consider point P on the surface at any point on the surface. At that point P, consider differential surface ds. At that point P, the direction of the electric flux density is always moving radially outward direction. At that point P, the direction of the electric flux density is always moving radially outward direction. So now here the infinite line charge is placed on the z-axis. Because of that, along the z-axis direction, there is no electric flux density. There is no electric flux density along z-axis direction. The electric flux density is varying only radially outward direction. So we know that using Gauss law, Q is equal closed surface integral of d bar dot ds bar. Here, electric flux density due to infinite line charge, right circular cylinder is the Gaussian surface. The electric flux density, that closed surface integral, can be evaluated into three parts. That is, top of the cylinder, bottom of the cylinder, and side of the cylinder, or lateral part of the cylinder. The electric flux density can be determined in three parts. So that are top of the cylinder, bottom of the cylinder, and side of the cylinder. So this closed Gaussian surface, closed surface integral of d bar dot ds bar can be written as q is equal top integral of d bar dot ds bar plus bottom integral of d bar dot ds bar plus side integral of d bar dot ds bar. So using Gauss law, what is the Gauss law? What is the statement of the Gauss law? The flux passing through any closed surface is equal to charge enclosed by that surface. The flux passing through any closed surface is equal to charge enclosed by that surface. That is the statement of the Gauss law. So that is psi is equal to q. That is equal closed surface integral of d bar dot ds bar. So now here Gaussian surface will be considered. That Gaussian surface is a closed surface. So because of that, the flux, electric flux density will varies in three directions. So what are that three directions? Top of the cylinder, bottom of the cylinder, and side of the cylinder. At any point on the Gaussian surface, the electric flux density is varying only radial direction, not varying z direction, x direction. So because of that, the line charge density is placed on the z-axis. Along the z-axis direction, there is no electric flux density. The electric flux density is varying only radially outward direction. So the closed surface integral of d bar dot ds bar can be written as top of the surface, bottom of the surface, and side of the surface, lateral part of the surface. So individually evaluate top of the cylinder, bottom of the cylinder, and side of the cylinder. Okay. So now here the top of the cylinder, top of the surface, there is no electric flux density, and bottom of the surface, there is no flux density. So why top of the surface and bottom of the surface, there is no electric flux density? The infinite line charge is placed on the z-axis, lying on the z-axis, along the z-axis direction. Along the z-axis direction means top of the surface. The top of the surface is parallel to positive z-axis and bottom of the surface is parallel to negative z-axis. So along the z-axis direction, there is no electric flux density. So because of that, the top of d bar dot ds bar is equal to 0 and bottom surface integral of d bar dot ds bar is 0. And the remaining part is q is equal side surface integral of d bar dot ds bar. So now here the electric flux density is varying only radially outward direction. In cylindrical coordinate system, the vector form of the electric flux density is d bar is equal dr into ar bar plus d theta into a theta bar plus d pi into a pi bar. d pi into a pi bar. In spherical coordinate system. So here's electric flux density is varying only radial outward direction. So because of that, the electric flux density d bar is equal dr into ar bar. dr into ar bar. At that point, differential surface is also varying radially outward direction. Radially outward direction. In cylindrical coordinate system, what is the differential vector surface area? ds bar is equal to r dz d pi into ar bar. ds bar is equal to r dz d pi into ar bar. Radial direction. So now calculate d bar dot ds bar value. d bar dot ds bar value. So d bar is dr into ar bar. ds bar is r into dz into d pi into ar bar. So dot product of same unit vectors is unity. ar bar dot ar bar is 1. So that is equal d bar dot ds bar is equal dr into r d pi into dz. Take the closed surface integral. So now it is constant over the side of the surface. As the electric flux density is varying only radial outward direction, and top of the surface and bottom of the surface there is no electric flux density. So therefore, q is equal lateral part of the surface d bar dot ds bar. So lateral part of the d bar dot ds bar, what is the value? dr into r d pi into dz. And what is the length of the cylinder? The length of the cylinder is L. So z is equal to 0 to L, and pi is where in cylindrical coordinate system pi is varies from 0 to 2 pi. So therefore q is equal dr into r z is integral z is equal to 0 to L 1 dz integral pi is equal to 0 to 2 pi 1 d pi. Integral 1 dz is z over 0 to L, integral 1 d pi is pi over 0 to pi. Applying the upper value and lower values of z and pi, we get q is equal dr into r L into 2 pi, capital L into 2 pi. So from that equation, the component dr is equal q by 2 pi r. Here is equal to q by 2 pi r. So according to definition of the line charge density, what is the definition of the line charge density? Total charge to the total length. Total charge to the total length. So what is the capital L length of the cylinder? So the total charge Q by L is called as line charge density. The line charge density is represented by, is denoted as rho suffix L coulombs per meter. So that is equal, substitute dr component value into radial component of the electric flux density equation. D bar is equal to dr into ar bar, that is equal q by 2 pi rl into ar bar. So total charge by length of the cylinder is line charge density. So that is equal rho L by 2 pi r into ar bar. Rho L by 2 pi r into ar bar. We know that the relationship between electric field intensity and electric flux density, d bar is equal to epsilon naught into E bar. Now calculate the electric field intensity. electric field intensity E bar is equal d bar by epsilon naught. Therefore, the electric field intensity E bar is equal rho L by 2 pi epsilon naught R into AR bar, where rho L is the line charge density in coulombs per meter, R is the radius of the cylinder or radius of the Gaussian surface, epsilon naught is the permittivity of the free space, and now here the direction of the electric field intensity or electric flux density is along the radially outward direction, Okay, so this is the equation of electric field intensity and electric flux density due to infinite line charge. The electric field intensity due to infinite line charge already discussed in the applications of Coulomb's law. Now here this is the application of the Gauss law. In the application of the Coulomb's law and applications of the Gauss law, the electric field intensity due to infinite line charge is same. That is E bar is equal rho L by 2 pi epsilon naught R into AR bar.